Hey, what is happening, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo, senior editor here at the Koalition.com. And today I got a little special video, something random, something fun that I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm actually talking with Andrew, who's the founder of GaCuCon, the gamer cruise, here down in Florida, I want to say specifically, right? Down here in Miami, Florida, correct?
Yep, correct.
Correct. So welcome, Andrew. Thanks for chatting it up with me.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, your convention, or basically your event, has started at the end of January to 2017. So you haven't been around for that long. At least you guys haven't been throwing this for that long. But you've been around. You've already had one event and stuff. So tell me a little bit about GaCuCon. We got in touch ever since I did the story about the Gamer Gauntlet controversy. You know, that whole Gamer Gauntlet cruise. But you came to me, you were like, yo, we're a legitimate gaming event convention cruise. So let me tell you about it. So tell me a little bit about it. What is GaCuCon exactly?
Yeah, so GaCuCon, we started as a local game dev community, and we were looking to host an event down there in Miami. And we started trying to think of like how to do a fun venue other than just getting a convention center and doing the same old. So then we started looking at cruises, because I personally love cruise ships, and I wanted to see if it was even possible, because I heard of like corporate events and stuff like that on boats. And I was like, man, I could totally get down on a land with some friends by the ocean, or on the ocean rather. So that kind of like sparked it up, and lo and behold, it was possible. The budget that we had to start it with was manageable, so we just jumped into it, just right on into the deep end and made it happen.
That's pretty cool. So like I mentioned earlier, we got in touch after I did the story about the Gamer Gauntlet controversy. I mean, it could be a little bit intimidating, I guess, trying to run such a big event, even though maybe it's not as big as like crazy like what they were trying to do and stuff. But do you think like necessarily in order to have a successful event like this that technically, quote unquote, hasn't really been done before on like such a huge, large scale besides your own event, do you really think like you need that big backing, the funds or just like the brand power behind it to make something like this successful?
No, I think if you grow a community and you have fun along the way, it's inevitable. I spoke to Wet Travel, who runs the Groove Cruise, the first year that we were planning this, because we were going to work out something with them. And they told us something that when they started their cruise to become a full ship charter, it took them 5 to 7 years to work up to that point. Because part of the problem with it is it's kind of unproven. So getting a big investor to take a risk like that, and with an unknown brand and that kind of stuff, it's kind of risky for everyone involved, and that's kind of why you saw what happened, I'm assuming. I don't know what their situation is, but it's at least like $1 million plus to reserve an entire cruise ship and then to sell the tickets and all that. It's a big thing to take when you can just kind of start small, build a community, have fun around it, and then grow the event more organically.
So, since you mentioned community, since you mentioned strong, tight-knit community, I mean, what was the biggest factor in making your guys' first-year event really happen? I mean, was it really through social media? Was it word of mouth? Was it getting specific guests, to get people's attention and stuff? Really, what was it, or at least how you approached everything as far as, like, making this a reality?
Well, a lot of the things that you mentioned there are spot on for some of the things we did. We didn't have a massive marketing budget. That's why people are popping up all of a sudden saying like, wow, there's actually already a game cruise that's happening. So word of mouth with our communities down there with Make Games Miami, the Florida Game Developers Association, some of the gaming groups that happened down there, that helped kind of set the base to get people excited and be like, okay, we're not just going to be alone in a room playing games by ourselves. So that was a good start. We actually had a lot of good success with Google advertising. So some of the guests from last year have already pre-purchased tickets, which was kind of crazy from that. So we're seeing that like people searching cruise and game is more. It's better than was expected. Let's just say that.
That's always good. It's always good to have something better than expected rather than just on par. So speaking of guests, I mean, tell me a little bit about some of the guests that you've had in the past. I know you've told me personally before we started recording and stuff, but for everybody listening in on this, past guests that what you guys had on your first year. I know you mentioned people like Fatality, I believe it was at one point. And I think it was also including some other popular websites, different like, not CEOs, but like, EICs or something of the sort from various gaming websites. But go ahead, give everybody some insight on that.
So some of the bigger folk that joined us was, of course, Jonathan Wendell. Fatality was awesome to have around and destroy us at anything we had on the LAN. We had Nero from Destructoid, who was the CEO, but I think they were recently just merged. So I don't know what his title is there, but he kind of founded Destructoid, which is also he was from Miami, so that's pretty cool too. Just had to throw that in there. We had Greg Street, who used to work at Blizzard for World of Warcraft as one of their like design gurus, and now he's with Riot Games for League of Legends. Danny Fraud Montaner from FaZe Clan joined us, who's also in Miami, so that was pretty cool. And then we had like a swath of indie devs from our local community, which was kind of part of the point, was to kind of get them up and moving and networking. Like Good War Games, Helm Systems, Blue Man Entertainment at the LAN event, Bane of Empires, the board game being made down there. So there was some interesting mix, right? We had like some big level guys, and then we had the indie scene in support.
That sounds pretty cool. That sounds interesting. Now, with gaming being like the real kind of, I guess you could say, cornerstone of the convention, or at least the attraction for a lot of people that would want to join up on this and such. I mean, are there other things, obviously, which you implement into, or you have implemented into the event itself? Like, obviously, a lot of people who are into gaming are also sometimes into anime. Some people are into comics. Some people are into tabletop gaming, or etc., cosplay, prop making. The list goes on and stuff. I mean, besides gaming being the real core at the heart of the event, like, what other stuff do you really kind of put out there for a lot of people to join up on the actual event?
So some of the things that we also had, we brought a collection of board games, the best of 2017, and some of the more well-known ones. We took essentially a little war chest of games that people can use there if they didn't bring anything specifically they wanted to share. So that went really well, actually. That, I think, board games and card games were checked out more than people on the LAN computers themselves, aside from when we were holding tournaments, which was interesting. So we're going to be amping that up this next year. We had a projector rolling with some anime music, stuff like that, in the main conference room. Where this year we're actually looking at doing kind of like an overnight, like anime viewing, because some people were talking about that. What? Two people came dressed up as moguls from Final Fantasy VII, wearing
That's hilarious.
Yeah, you should have seen them getting looks walking up and down the cruise, because we're a mixed
With the little
event, right?
There's our event. Did they have the little pom-poms on the head? Okay, yeah, I can imagine them getting looks.
Yeah, so the crew on the ship was getting a kick out of it. They were always popping into our little room to see what's going on. So yeah, board games, card games. We had a green screen that we set up for people to take pictures, and then we can edit it out with like backgrounds for anime, like the Moogles. And we're going to be kicking those up even more, because first year is kind of like throw stuff at the wall, see what the community's like kind of enjoying, and then we just inject it in steroids going on for the future.
Nice. Now, you mentioned people like obviously someone from FaZe Clan. You obviously mentioned also some tournament stuff. Tell me a little bit about different types of tournaments that your guys are open to actually hosting on the actual cruise or during the entire time of the event. I mean, are we guessing like the basics like FPS stuff like Call of Duty, like Halo, like fighting games, Street Fighter, the list goes on, Smash Brothers, anything of the sort? Any big prizes?
Yeah, this year... Yeah, well, last year we had a Team Fortress 2 tournament, some Counter-Strike. We did a Gang Beast tournament, which was surprisingly the most popular thing we did there. I don't know if you've ever seen that game, but it's hilarious. Some of the other activities that we had were like ARG, so people were competing, but that's not video gaming per se. It's more like a role-playing meets scavenger hunt that kind of happened there. But as far as what we're going to be doing, this year we're looking for some more partners to run more Smash tournaments, fighting games, more console-centric. Because they're easier to set up on a cruise ship, and the 1v1, like you can kind of have casual tournaments, but then it can amp up competitively pretty quick versus setting up what we had was like a 10-computer LAN. Because size is limited on a cruise ship unless you do a full booking. And then electricity on the other side of it is kind of crazy. We actually blew out one side of that section of the ship's electricity for an hour or two.
Really? Wow. Why?
Yeah, it was great. Well, the ship, they're not used to that kind of stuff, right? Like in the conference room that we're in. So they learned real quickly how LAN parties can kind of get a little crazy on their electricity. So they were able to fix it. It just was something we had to get the electrical guy in there. He had a good laugh at it, was like surprised that we were doing something like this on the boat. Squared us away, and then we just kept going.
He probably gave you a dirty look on the way out. It was just like, come on, guys. Like
going in, he was straight confused.
that is pretty funny. So Let me ask you this then. I mean, where do you want to see GaCuCon go in the future? I mean, how big do you want it to get? Obviously, you're pretty sure you want it to get really big. But I mean, have you looked into maybe getting a bigger charter, maybe getting a bigger boat? I know that going back to the Gamer Gauntlet stuff that we referred to earlier, they wanted to get something with Royal Caribbean, you know, obviously a gigantic, huge boat and stuff. I mean, do you guys, or at least do you see like that happening, or at least, you know, being the next step or next evolution of like what this event could become?
Yeah, I mean, if things keep going like they did last year and this year, the goal is to grow into a full ship charter, because I would love to see, you know, gaming concerts in some of the halls that they have on the cruise ships, full cosplay contests, way more space for gaming, LAN console tournaments, stuff like that. But it takes time. I am starting to look into investors to see where we can kind of move it a little bit farther, but not for a full ship charter. Not yet, right? Because everything's going to have to grow organically. That's the goal. I don't want to jump into something that'll either mess with any investors or sponsors, or make the event like what happened with VGU for customers. That's totally not even on my plate of things to do. So yeah, it's just going to be grow the event as much as we can every year, stacking things that are fun, and just see what everyone wants to keep doing every year, and just keep pushing it as far as we can take it.
Sounds dope. I mean, it sounds interesting. Sounds really, really interesting. I mean, tell us when's your guys' next dates, or at least the dates that you guys set aside for the next next event.
Yeah, so I've already reserved it with Carnival. Hold on a second. Turn that down. Yeah, you can tell I'm a gamer, right? Skyrim.
Yeah, right. I thought I was ready to hear "Foods Don't Rock" come out somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've already booked it with Carnival on the Carnival Conquest, going from Fort Lauderdale to the Bahamas on June 20th to the 25th, 2018. So that's already locked in. Right now we're just prospecting on, you know, our activities, our guests, sponsors, stuff like that. And so it's still pretty far out, but it's a good time to check it out. And if anyone has questions, you know, like I'm all about making fun stuff happen.
Sounds interesting, man. Again, definitely there'll be links in the description box below, guys, so you guys can check it out. To all the info, you guys have your website. You're on Twitter. Am I guessing? You guys are on Twitter?
Yep. We're on Twitter.
We're on Twitter. Can everybody find you?
Yep. Yeah, if you look up Game Cruise on Twitter, you'll be able to find us. Not a problem.
And again, there'll be links in the description box below, so you guys can check that stuff out. But Andrew, thank you for chatting it up with me, letting us know about a real gamer cruise, or gaming type of like cruise or event. It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun. I hope it goes well for you guys, and I hope you guys get a lot of people checking it out, so you guys can grow big time.
Much appreciated.
Definitely. So again, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation here. Let me know what's up in the comment section below. Tell me if you guys are interested in checking out the gaming cruise as GaCuCon, or if you guys have any other suggestions or cool stuff that you guys want to see them implemented to their event, or any other cool stuff you guys want to mention down below in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the Koalition's YouTube channel for all our videos related to gaming and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. I'll be back again real soon with some more content for you guys to enjoy. I will talk to all of you again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.